Even though, well, hello, people. I guess we're back. It's been a little while since we've been here, but hey, we're back and we're doing a family mashup tonight. We're going to talk about what has happened in the last month and what is coming. So, as you can see by what's going on around you, is we have done some modifications and some upgrades to the studio. And hey, Google, turn on studio lights since I forgot to set it up on my phone beforehand.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Hey, Google, turn on studio lights. Oh, there we go. Now we have some lightage on the person. So really what we're going to do tonight is we're just going to do a little bit of mashup where I've got the family here. Husband, daughter, and son will be arriving shortly. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you, all we need to ask him is to tell us the story about his first threesome.
Oh my goodness.
And I think that would be...
Do you have our mics up?
Yes, your mics are up.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
So say hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Say hi, Kenzie.
Hi, Kenzie.
Okay. So anyway, back to me.
Where's our picture? Come on, we can't even see us. What's going on?
That's true.
Come on. There you go. Now at least they can see that we're there.
They can see me. Hold on.
Well,
hold on. I got to do this. And then I do this. And I don't know why it's still me on the picture. Okay, so we're going to switch this for a second to that one. And then we go like this. Okay. Hello, there I am.
There you
Okay, so I guess I have to be small in my own show. What the fuck is that bullshit? What the hell is this? Who wears you take your glasses off so they can hang and you leave the hanger thing on the
Do your
front?
glasses hang low? Do they wobble to and fro?
Can you tie him in a knot? Can you tie him in a bow?
No, those are my boobs. Not my
Hey, I was
Started your ears.
I was
but
trying to be PG.
Yeah, no. Hey.
I'm definitely the dog person. Just keep rotating.
What can I say? So for just a second, while I will eventually figure out that picture in picture, because I'm too retarded apparently to figure that out yet. But anyway, so as you can see, if you have watched my show before, that there have been some changes. We remodeled the studio. And we have a brand new, well, the only thing we did not remodel in here for certain is that corner. We did not redo that part because that was painstakingly done. So now, though, we put in big, giant new desk, if you can see how big it is. So the whole purpose is that when we are going to be in the art room, we can still transfer into the art room to do projects. However, we have this really cool thing that we've switched to now where, oh, that's not it, but where?
There it is.
And I'm not exactly sure. Not exactly sure why it is in black and white. So I have to tell the camera not to do black and white, but I'm not exactly sure how to do that. I don't know.
There we go.
Okay, it's back to regular color. It's back to regular color. So the beauty of this is that when I do my art projects, yes, I will be putting some plastic on this desk. I will be putting, I can't hear myself on there, so I don't know if we have an issue with this mic or I don't hear this mic. Just move that stuff out. I don't know why that is wanting to do something. Okay.
Try it now.
Okay. Mic number 4. No, I don't hear anything on mic 4.
Okay, well, this is as close as you're gonna get, I guess.
Sometimes there's cable issues, and since we remodeled this whole room, this is our first show back since we remodeled, and so we have 4 cameras set up in the studio, and the whole purpose.
Testing 1, 2. Nothing on
Nothing.
mic 4.
There's nothing on mic 4. So we'll just right now we'll just leave it, and we will figure something else out at a later date. So for right now, we'll just move this kind of out of the way. So the whole purpose is so that I can do an art project right here in the studio, and all I got to do is turn around. I've got the camera set up, and I can zoom in to the project and show y'all what I'm working on. This, as you can see, is an American flag makeshiftly drawn on here. So what I'm going to be doing, wish me well, is I'm going to be doing a, oh, I hear sound in there. I hear sound. All right. So we hear sound now. So what I'm going to be doing with this one is I'm going to be doing a paint pour on here, trying to make it look like the American flag. So I'll be doing a combination of blues over here, and then I'm going to drop some white with some silicone oil in it, and just drop them in there and see if it kind of makes stars. I don't have no idea. Never tried this. Don't know how it's going to turn out. This is just that foam board you can buy. I bought this at the dollar store because I didn't want to ruin a really expensive canvas if it doesn't work. So I'm just going to try it on here. Yes, we'll have to put some plastic on here so that we hopefully don't destroy the desk. So we'll put some plastic on the nights we're going to paint or do something that could be dirty. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the blues like I just said, and then I'm going to mix up a white with some yellows and some tans in it for the whites, and reds and burgundies and a mixture of reds. So I'm trying to get a wave look into it when I do it. And then I'm going to distress it afterwards with some alcohol ink, like a satina or browns, and just kind of make it look old. And then we're going to take and we're going to put strips of the Constitution and stuff on this. The Gettysburg Address, I think, is fitting to add to it. Whatever we want to do with that. So that is what the plan is to do. So the next thing is, this is kind of my little display here for when I want to talk about, and of course it's not showing it. Sorry. Give me 1 second. All right. So we will still have this right there. Okay. So this is kind of my little display section here, because what we make, we sell. So when we make stuff, I will be selling them. So there's some cool little things. If you can see the Vicks Ranch mirror that we made, that is for our nonprofit. That's what we put on display when we do that. That glass right there is not one that we made, but I still like it to be on display because that came from when my parents were diplomats with the Foreign Service. And then we have a couple other, my camera does not want to turn if I wouldn't try to move it. So then I do have at least one piece there of paint that I did myself. So other than that, the whole purpose is so that when we're talking politics for a minute or two, then we can switch over to this view and talk a little politics. But other than that, that's the plan. That's what we're going to be doing. I would do a 360 of the room, but that's kind of hard to do with all the cameras being set up in kind of somewhat of a permanent basis. So anyway, what have we been doing for the last month, guys? It's been Christmas. We had Christmas. We had the New Year's. We had a really cool Christmas party at our house. Now, granted, we lost power and then lost power
And got it back and lost it and got it back and lost it and got
and
it back
after
and
about
lost it.
like the fourth or fifth time of losing power, we decided to call it a drinking game. So every time the power would go off, someone would yell,
Drink.
and everybody
Usually me.
and everybody had to drink. So it turned something that was like, because we did a fondue and poo poo, and if those of you that don't know what poo poo is, Ken's can explain it, but that's what we did, fondue and poo poo.
Yeah, real quick, a poo poo is not what you think it is. It's Hawaiian for finger foods. So like little weenies, meatballs, like anything that's like a finger food.
I think the dogs are
What they call
announcing
poo-poos.
that the sun is home.
Dogs
Just
have
so you
announced-
know,
have announced the arrival.
We do not enjoy human excrement or excrement of
Yeah,
any
yeah.
any.
That was definitely not what was on the menu. But we did fondue. We had a chocolate fountain. We had chocolate. We had fruits. We had trays of veggies and fruits and bread for the fondue. And then we had meatballs and little sausages, little wieners,
Little
smokies,
smokies.
and a really cool punch that would make you want to
Oh God.
kill yourself if you drank, I think.
Well, it had to kill you in it, so I mean, what the heck?
It had
Yeah, it did have tequila in it.
it had
Tequila.
it had tequila, vodka,
White
rum,
rum,
all the
peach
all
schnapps,
the white
and
stuff.
triple sec.
and
No, didn't have all the whites in it because it didn't have any gin.
No, I was not putting gin in it.
Thank you.
No, I was not putting gin.
yeah, I would prefer not to have gin. I'm not a gin fan.
It's called
Um,
Jungle Juice.
Yep.
For anybody that doesn't know, anybody my age, you had at least once at a college party.
I think anybody who's ever drank at a party knows what jungle juice is, but
If
yeah.
not, I will teach you.
For those that don't know, Kenzie, I'm sure can teach you how. And that the juice that we used was really good too. But anyway, so that we did that and we decorated quite a bit. I posted some pictures. I did a little bit of video and stuff. But and I did mention, if you look behind me and you see that wrong direction, you see that brown circle with the green in it. That's actually one of our pieces that we made. It's a little memory for or plaque for me to hang on the wall. That's a etched mirror that has my time in the Army. So that's something that we make too. But anyway, we made I guess he wasn't quite as tall as I thought he was going to turn out to be, but probably about 10 foot.
At
No,
least.
it's
12
got to be
foot.
10 to 12 foot.
You coming in? Come on. Everybody wants to hear about the first time you had a
A
threesome.
threesome.
You're the one that opened your mouth the other day.
That story.
You're the one
It's
that
a
opened
great
your mouth the
story,
other day.
But
So
it's
you know
a
what?
it's a great story. Come in and tell your story because
You
it's
had
a
to come in
great
and tell your
story.
story.
So many people would.
I just had to
probably
explain how I
love
tried
to
getting the
hear this
entire
story.
family drunk on Jungle Juice. Come on.
Yeah,
On
Try to get
Christmas,
the-
nonetheless.
the whole family drunk on jungle juice. Just Steve, shut that door real quick.
You have been sucked in.
So there is child number 2. We've got all the children, 4-legged children in here too right now. But
Sit back, relax.
sit back, relax, and have fun. We're not going to be here super long, but
Not like the last time we did this show.
yeah,
The
let's-
family took
but-
almost 3 hours.
we did build a 12-14 foot snowman. he looked really cool. All of our yard was really cool. We built this amazing whelping box for our friend that needed one for her soon to be puppy mommy. So if you've seen any of the puppy pictures on our Facebook, that is what those puppies are. They're beautiful little healers. So then the other night we played Cards Against Humanity. Oh, well, with the two kids with the parents while we drank. It was rather entertaining. I drank Fireball. Kenzie was drinking her bitch beer. And Sam was drinking bourbon. Dad was drinking bourbon. And we were eating pizza and wings and whatnot. And we decided to play a family game of, seriously, that's a family game. That is not a family game.
Oh, sure.
Oh, that is definitely a family
That
game.
is our family game.
It's a horrible game for horrible people. Come on.
But it is definitely not
There's
what
a
I would
family
call a family game. But
Settle down.
it's definitely a great our family game. So if you've never played Cards Against Humanity, it is freaking hilarious.
Important call.
I imagine he'll be back in a minute.
We shall see.
I know he might be running away now.
He may.
He might be running fast.
Yeah, he got out and took off pretty quick. Or was that it? Just did he send
Did he call
somebody a
himself?
message and
Said,
say,
"Call me quick."
call me a rescue and get me the hell out of here?
No, because I was watching.
Mm.
But it was a girl. I'm still gonna get my ass beat by him for this. Good thing I can lock my RV.
See, I can even zoom my cameras in now. You see that, Ken? Although
Getting fancy.
I'm
I see this.
still this little person over there. I don't understand why it's doing picture in picture without the
It
other.
depends on which one you have set as number one, which one you have set as number two, and those type of things.
You need to set the picture of us as number 2.
Okay, so
So
number
go to-
2.
No. Go
No, you gotta
program
go to
one,
number 1.
preview 2.
Okay. I'll do it on here because I
You
can
have
do
to
that.
preview on preview 2 there.
Preview 2
Now try picture in picture and see what you get.
but I
Not
don't.
on there. No,
Okay.
picture in picture on the there. Nope.
This is
Yeah,
what
so-
happens when you have
It's actually the key one, whatever the key one is set to.
2 tech people who are not the primary right now.
The 2 tech people are not the tech people on the thing.
Yeah, so why don't one of you come over here and figure this shit out?
Because it's funnier watching you do it. I'm being honest.
Not on there.
Oh, okay. So apparently it's not on the actual ATEM Mini Pro. It's on the actual computer part that you have to tell it what you're doing, because I'm not bright enough to figure that out on my, see, I'm here about the funny and the humor and to bring the show to you. I am not here about the setting shit up, and I just go, I would like it to do this, and they make it do that.
Or like Dad makes it do that, and I'm just here on the side to help.
Well, there's
if needed.
times that you go like, oh, well, what if you did this and it works. So, but still, it's
Sometimes.
definitely not me.
Okay. How about we do that one instead?
Okay. Oh, okay. But if
Yeah, that.
now if you two are talking and I switch to 2, it'll go. Okay, I can go
Yeah.
back to it. Okay.
Yep.
I was just trying to
You need to move where it is on there though, because your banner blocks it on the live stream. You have to move it to the second position. The picture in picture.
Okay.
Yeah, you go to live stream. If you go to the StreamYard on your computer, it's blacketed up there.
Oh, okay. So just move it to the
Down.
down position,
There you go. That works.
Woohoo!
or move it over there.
Whichever
Or do
one.
you guys just want to rotate around?
No,
Okay. So down,
preferably not.
I don't want to get seasick. Just
Thank
leave it,
you.
So-
leave us in one spot.
right there.
That's Sam's job to do here soon.
Okay.
Seasick?
Yep.
Oh,
I do plan on getting drunk. I have a quarter of a bottle left.
Oh God.
Well.
He
where
has
is
a
it?
quarter of a bottle left. Go get your bottle and
Bring it on.
He's been locked up all day. I want to go let him out and hang out with him and let him run around and shit.
Well,
So
I'm
sweet.
tired, I want to drink.
tell your story and then you can go.
I fucked my best friend's girlfriend.
That is
That is not the story we
that
got the
is
other night.
not the story.
is
If you
not
let one
what
of
we got
us
the
tell
night.
the story, it's gonna be way worse than when you told it. At least you know I'm being honest. It's sweet tea.
Yeah,
There's no liquor in here right now.
No liquor in here right
That's
now.
unfortunate. I know. As soon as they said sweet tea, I'm like, I'm not touching
the
that.
story of my first three-way, which unbeknownst to them was not my first three-way. Or they were under the impression it was not my first.
So like the people you were with thought you'd done this before.
Yeah, because I was 17 and an asshole, so I lied to make them feel more comfortable, obviously. So my best friend was staying at our house while we were all still in high school, and being the friend that I am, he invited his girlfriend over to quote unquote hang out, and I lent them my bed. But being that we were still like in my parents' home, you know, I stayed in there with them as well. And I slept on the floor, or tried to sleep on the floor. And they sought out the opportunity to have their fun. However, being still young and stupid, clearly they were embarrassed to actually do anything about it. So I'm laying there trying to sleep, and he is every 30-second one pumping her. And I had a futon instead of a normal bed, so every time he moved, it squeaked. So every 30 seconds, just him trying to actually get it in and have fun with her. And so finally, I wake up, or they think I wake up, and I turn on the light. I'm like, hey, if you're gonna fuck her, fuck her. You know, if that's what you want to do, do it. But this every 30-second single pumping.
Yeah,
doesn't
like if you're
work.
gonna do something, make it
Just do
happen
it.
or
Just
don't
do it.
bother
But
at all.
one pump every 30 seconds is just not sufficient. So I jumped up, I flipped the light on, I was like, hey, if you're gonna fuck her. And of course they jumped like, what are you talking about? We were not doing anything. So we talk for a minute, and somehow like the topic of a three-way comes up, and you know, we're discussing it. And I lied, you know, that obviously that I had done them before to like kind of coerce them into it. So they were more comfortable with it because his girlfriend was hot and I wanted to get laid. So why not? So we get into it and we kind of start, and having already been sexually experienced myself, I just dove into the project. Like to me, it was just
the project.
the whole like aura may be different, but the task is still the same. Fuck. That's it. So I start going to town on her, and I go down on her, and he's just awkwardly laying on his side next to her while she's on her back, just there. Just an extra body on the bed, not doing anything, not contributing, just awkwardly laying there. So finally, while I'm eating her out,
Now, how old were you again?
17, I think, maybe 16. I don't know. But so while I'm eating her out, he's just awkwardly laying there. So I grab his hand and I put his hand on her vagine so he could participate. So he's going to finger her while I'm eating her out. And he's still just like super awkward about it. And finally, like he pulls his hand away, and I look up from under the sheets, and he's like gently like twisting her nipple in his finger, like just awkwardly sitting there not knowing what to do. So we continue, and I switch with him, try to get him to do it to her, and he was super awkward about it. So she ends up blowing me a little bit while she's laying down. He's just pretty much just having a staring contest with the vagina because he's too scared to do anything with it. And finally, like, we get moving a little bit. We get him a little bit more comfortable. She forces him into being more comfortable and active, and we're moving on. It comes to the point of penetration. And being that it's his girlfriend, he wanted to penetrate first and actually get the deed done.
So I have to say, the other night when he talked about this and told this part, this had the three of us flipping, rolling on the floor.
and by the way, the reason for this is because of the sheer.
Well, he was also drunk.
He was drunk,
not.
but the
Oh, when I told
yes,
the
you
story,
were.
When I told the story, yes.
but you were so
Dramatic.
forceful.
Oh,
and
sure.
animated.
Oh,
You were
yes.
he was so
I
animated.
felt like I
Anyway,
was in a 4D
Instead
theater.
of telling the story about how I told the story, this is the actual story. So we finally get to the point of penetration, and being that it's his girlfriend, I allow him to have first shot. So he's trying to get it up, and he can't. He put the she's trying to blow him and jerk him off and trying to get him hard. He finally gets like a half chode, and he puts the condom on, and he still can't get it up. So he's just sitting there awkwardly, like playing with it, literally playing with it, hoping something would happen. And finally, very rudely, I might add, she calls him out on it. She's like, okay, what, you can't get it up? Making fun of him for not being able to get it up. I'm horny, young, and ready to go. So I said, fine, I'll do it. And he said, well, we only have one condom. And he's like, and I'm currently wearing it. I was like, well, then I'm currently wearing it.
Because you're
And
all broke.
I physically grabbed the tip of the latex, pulled it off of his Johnson, slipped it over mine, and then proceeded to rabbit fuck his girlfriend while he stared. So he's just sitting there staring, watching me go to town on his girlfriend. Still awkward as can be. This time he has two hands on her boobs, but he's just cupping them like you would hold a rabbit. Just gently, just there caressing her, just awkward and scared. And finally, like, I get him to finger her while I'm fucking her, which obviously like, definitely messed with his confidence and his comfortability, because your best friend's boys aren't supposed to be near your hands in that instance. So I get that, but we're continuing, and finally I get her to the point where she's done. I'm just about done. He's actually finally getting comfortable, getting into it, getting excited. So I flip her over, and as a classic young boys wet dream move that we've all talked about, and I bet you like 3 people have ever actually done, I put her doggy style and we Eiffel Towered her. He stood there next to her not knowing what to do, and I was like, put your cock in her mouth. So he's still just like, now he's just holding his Johnson, doing nothing, just staring at her, bewildered of what's happening. So she grabs it, she goes to town on him, I'm going to town on her, and that's when I had the idea to live every young boy's fantasy. I was like, we're going to Eiffel Tower her. So we stuck our hands up and we high-fived and we Eiffel Towered her. The night moved on. We ended up finishing, and then they laid there awkwardly while I'm pretty sure he probably just cried himself to sleep.
And now you were 16 or 17, not completely
Somewhere
sure,
around that, yeah.
but somewhere around 16 or 17. You guys were in high school, and if I'm not mistaken, this is Cody, correct?
Yes. I was trying to avoid that, hence I never said his name.
He doesn't watch my fucking show.
Still, that's not my business to say who he is.
Well,
It's his business, not mine.
I didn't say his last name. I could do that part too.
No.
But anyway,
There's more than one Cody in
there's more than one Cody in the world.
Sure.
But so did this destroy your relationship and your friendship?
It definitely put a hindrance on our not a hindrance. We were still great friends even after that, and we still have been 10 years later. But the coming weeks, pun intended, were awkward. Were really awkward. He couldn't look me or her in the eyes for weeks after that.
Now, does he still talk to her?
No, they haven't talked to years. They haven't talked probably since then.
Probably
Honestly.
ever.
So yeah, I mean, that was my first 3-way, and in hindsight, I get why he was the way he was, because I then had my second 3-way with my current fiance and another good friend of mine, and she paid more attention to him than she did me, just like his girlfriend paid more attention to me than she did him.
And you
And
wanted
it was-
to roll up into a ball and
It was
cry.
definitely a hindrance. It definitely ruined our friendship.
It almost seems
And-
more like a cuckold situation
So, I mean,
than
certainly,
threesome in both of
certainly.
those aspects.
I mean, no, because a couple will more just watch the entire time. Like, that's what they enjoy, is just the watching. But I definitely get why he was so uncomfortable. Being that like that wasn't I firmly believe you can't have 3-ways with like beloved partners. It has to be a stranger situation.
That was my next question. So now that you have the experience, you can say, I've done this. I've done it twice on both different sides of
Done it a few more times.
I'm sure
Well, we weren't
But-
going to go there, and
You can completely exploit your sexual life, but okay.
but I mean, once you've done that at least once or twice, do you now feel like it's not necessarily something that you need to do?
No, but I
Anymore?
definitely think that there needs to be a very strong line of communication and a very strong line of trust. And young adults don't have that.
So is
We're
it something
just
you would?
horny people?
Yeah. So is it something that you would say, in your opinion, you would probably want to keep out of a marriage and not
I mean,
necessarily doing that once you
but,
get
I mean, but
married,
that's
or
also-
not
that's-
necessarily?
That's all like almost entirely circumstantial because each partner is different. Each person that you date or marry is going to be different. So having that level of trust comes down to not your sexual trust, your actual relationship trust.
Right.
Because the issues that you have in the bedroom can almost always be correlated to the issues you have outside of the bedroom. So if there's any, lack of trust when it comes to faith and reliability and what have you, you're going to have sexual mistrust as well. Especially if you're entertaining the thought of introducing someone to the bedroom. If you already kind of just feel like that you couldn't share your partner with somebody or have them share you with somebody, then you're going to start the evening off with a lack of trust. That you're not going to be able to have that trust that they're going to be partaking respectfully. Because I mean, if you're going to bring a partner in the bedroom, like there needs to be a strong grounds of respect and trust and faith. And especially since like once you add one person, then you add 2 or 3. The more people you add into the bedroom, the more trust that needs to be there. Because it's supposed to be an inclusive event. It's like a concert. You don't hold a concert and then like the drummer's in the back room, like just playing by himself. Like it doesn't make sense. It's
a pretty good analogy.
It's an inclusive event. So if you're going to have a 3-way or foursome or an orgy, you can't have 1 or 2 people just scared hiding in the corner because they're not being involved. If they're uncomfortable, you have to make sure that they are comfortable. And that comes down to you and your partner. If you guys are interested in introducing someone to the bedroom, I recommend that person be a stranger because the relationships you hold outside of the bedroom are still valid. So having a 3-way with, your best man at your wedding and inviting him into the evening with your wife may not be the best route because he's your best friend. And you never, I mean, like, especially when it comes to relationships, that's like the biggest fear with partners is that you love my sister. You want to cheat on me with my best friend. And then you bring that person into the bedroom. If there's an inclination that they're being paid attention to more than you are, you're going to be insecure.
Yeah, you get those jealousies.
You do want to fuck my best friend. So that's what this is about.
That's what this was all about in the
Exactly.
first place.
So there's a lack of trust there. So I would recommend personally bringing a stranger into the bedroom versus a friend. But I mean, every relationship is different. Every person's different.
Well, and we change as we get older and we grow, and like where we are sexually now and where we were sexually 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20
certainly.
years ago, the things that you might experiment and try when you're young and dumb are things that you're a little bit more cautious about when you're a little bit older.
I guess
and
that's also
through
where
things.
you learn those cautions. That's where you learn those hesitations, because you're young and stupid. You don't have information. My first 3-way convincing my best friend and his girlfriend to invite me into the room, that was exciting for me because I wasn't emotionally attached to the situation.
Well, and when
happened
you're
to me,
young, your first is the love of your life. You're going to spend the rest of your life with them, and you're going to live in a castle with your children, and
Right. Well, certainly. Well, it's when you're young and dumb, like that's the chance to like you learn those cautions and you learn those hesitations and you learn the temptations and you just you gain the knowledge. My first one, I gained different knowledge of like how to do things with other people, being that I wasn't emotionally involved. But when I had my second three-way and it was actually with somebody that I was emotionally involved with, I learned a different aspect of it. I learned the emotions behind having a threesome with somebody and watching my partner be with another person. That is a difficult moment for a lot of people to go through, so that gave me, the emotional knowledge. And the first one gave me the practical knowledge, the actual hands-on knowledge, pun also intended.
So kind of to finish this part up, if you could talk to your 16-year-old self.
Would I still do it? Yes.
No, I mean, not just would you still do it, because of course you would. You could tell yourself, no, you won't do that, but damn well they would. But what would you tell yourself about maybe how to go about it? Would you go about it differently?
Bring another condom, and that way you don't have to share it with your best friend.
I mean, the condom he had was the one that I had because I happened to be a sexually active person as it was. So he was using my condom in the first place.
Oh, you're too nice of a friend. I would say, fuck you,
just
no.
took it back.
I just took it back. But honestly, actually, there's probably nothing that I would change about that first incident, and like no like post knowledge that I would like try to bestow upon my younger self, like that would make it easier. Because at least that particular incident, it happened exactly the way it should have. Like it really did. Like, hey, I want to be in on this, and they're like, well, I don't know. Like, trust me, it's not that weird. I've done this before. I haven't, but it's gonna be awesome. And then they said, okay, and then we did it. So like literally, like the logistics of it all played out the way it should have.
Just so you know,
for him, maybe not.
You got a comment going on there. You might want to go and respond to up there on your message board real quick.
I don't have the message board, so I don't even know what's happening.
No, you don't, but.
Yeah, I see foursome.
Yeah, Wayne's talking about foursome. I don't know, Wayne.
My max was 12.
My max was 10, so I'm still a little short.
Uneven. I think it was 7 dudes, 6 women. I think it was. But I mean, my max was 12. I mean, 14.
Okay, well,
mine was only 2 girls. The rest were all guys. I'm not saying anything else about that time.
Now, the best one is where you lost your virginity. That's a fun story because I lost mine in a confessional booth inside of a Catholic church. Like
What?
the monster that I am.
Oh, I feel so like lonely now.
okay, so we need to clarify something.
Was
If
a
you're
funeral?
if you're going to say that your first was in a confession booth when you were how old?
I was 14.
You were 14. Holy shit, how
wasn't
did
a
I not
priest.
know about that's all that everybody watching would want to know.
It was not a
Was it a priest?
I am not a religious person. I have never really been a religious person.
And was it a
But
little boy? Was it a
definitely not.
choir boy?
It was definitely not.
Okay.
Wasn't
so-
an altar
was-
boy either.
It was a high school whore. That's what it was.
It was a high school.
That's
Well,
what
I love how he happened to say on the side, and it was kind of at the end of the funeral. You know,
I missed that part.
Yeah.
It was when we lived across the street from Our Lady of the Snows. So that was a big Catholic church, literally 15 feet from my front door.
We had a funeral like every other day over there.
constantly. So I had my girlfriend over, and then because we're young and stupid, like, oh, let's go sneak into the church. Like that'll be cool. Just
Let's
for
go.
the sake of it.
let's go
But-
crash a funeral.
Let's go crash a funeral.
There was no funeral going on at the time, but we snuck in. We were walking around the church, just kind of doing just kid shit, just doing stupid shit. And we finally ended up like getting into the confessional booth and like making out, and then it continued on. And then like as I had finished, we started hearing like murmurs and talking and loud shit happening. And we looked out, realized that we were sitting in the middle of a funeral, and then we snuck out the back door. So that was how I ended that.
Well, that is that's rather entertaining.
I'm definitely going to hell. For sure.
Well, there's a lot of things I think we've all done that we
In
could
the
say
Father,
we're
the
going to
Son,
hell.
and the Holy Semen.
Do that again.
In the Father, Son, and the Holy Semen.
Okay.
Oh,
So
God.
I think there's a lot of things that we've all done that we would go to hell. Thank God you can repent and
Hey, at least you
Sure.
didn't almost get caught going into a Marine Corps base through the gate while you're blowing off your fucking guy,
That's true.
And
I
the
have not
MP's
gotten
just
caught
sitting
trying to
there
blow off my guy going to a
IDing
gate.
you. Well, you haven't.
well, when I was an MP, I remember seeing quite a few things.
See, I don't know. Like, I've
See,
done so much.
I
think
don't know
the
how he
only-
didn't catch us though. Like it was
he
very
probably
obvious.
did and
Oh,
just
I'm-
didn't
But I
care.
think
He
I
probably
seriously
ignored
think
it.
there was a silent high five going on because all I heard were two chuckles and then we kept driving.
Yeah.
So I'm
He
like-
probably made sure that the MP was like, "Hey, dude." He
Yeah.
I
probably
mean,
made
it could have
sure.
been. I mean, first time seeing him in almost 6 months. Like, we weren't waiting until we got to the hotel. It was a 30-something minute drive. Like, we got in the car, had our little bout of fight because he was fucking late picking me up by like over an hour and a half. And I said, "You owe me." And shit went down in the car all the way there. Came up to the gate. He's like, "Put your pants back on." I'm like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "But you can still." I said, "Enough said." Went did my business. He's sitting there. We pull up to the gate. I already handed him my ID. I was about to sit up.
Who's the second
I'll-
ID for it?
I was about to sit up. I was about to sit up. He's like, "Nope." And I was like, "Okay." And we just kept going, pull up to the fucking hotel. And he's like, "Do I have to go in?" I said, "Yep." And so he's walking in with fucking a jogger suit on from the Marine Corps. He can tell he has a fucking boner. I'm sitting there completely disheveled. Walk in. I'm like, "Hey, this is the name. Here's your keys. Thanks." Drove around, went upstairs, and finished up, and it was great. And all 3 times that we came back on base, same damn shit happened.
See,
You know,
only
you gotta
dream
love the
is-
Marine Corps.
is my
Did that
only
on Air
dream
Force Base, they
sexually-
get you fucking pissed off. Marine Corps, they'd be like, "High five,
they'd
bro."
be cool with it. My only dream sexually is I want to fuck while skydiving. That's like my only, like, that's like my biggest. and
I would
only, like,
honestly be
sexual
scared of a
fantasy.
fucking bird strike happening
Nah,
while fucking. That is
nah.
my biggest fear. Like, seriously, that's my big fear.
Then
A
it's
fucking bird
three-way while
strike.
parachuting.
I just
Okay.
I just have to say
Mine would probably be actually scuba diving.
there's a lot of
Ooh.
That'd be fucking cool,
there's a lot of cool ways that
Don't
you
have to worry
can
about the sand,
possibly do things.
depending on where
but
you are.
skydiving isn't a very long excursion to begin with.
Well,
I
if
mean,
you pull
don't
the
do it
chute
during
fast
free
enough.
fall.
No, you pull the chute fast enough, and you
You
got
could
at
be
least
in the
another
air for
5
4 or
minutes
5
going
minutes.
down.
Okay, you said in the plane.
No, he
No,
said
I said
skydiving. He said skydiving.
So
So after you do your free fall, what you need to do is you need to do a tandem, but instead of being back.
so you
To front,
so you
you
have
do front to front.
No tandem.
So you jump
no
naked?
tandem.
Oh, dude,
Only
I
the chutes
couldn't
would be too
do that.
close.
your shoots would be too close and then they tangle up.
Unless you
and-
do it during the free fall, that could be interesting. Just
Well, that's what I'm
ass
saying.
first
You'd have to do a
essentially.
tandem. You'd have to do a tandem so that way your shoots don't.
You only have one shoot.
So you only have one shoot.
shoot.
You'd have to be face to face instead of back to face.
Now, who
Ass
would
to
make it to the
crotch.
ground first? Us or my shot? I mean, terminal velocity and all that. I don't know what the terminal velocity of semen is, but although I do know that
No,
it
it'd be
does
really
come
cool
out
to
at about
69 while skydiving.
that'd be
That
fun.
would be interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I know what the terminal velocity of semen is, but I know it does come out initially at 27 miles per hour, which technically makes it illegal in the school zone.
And also, ladies, it's
I
only
want
15
to know the
calories.
skydiving team that would let you do that naked
Money.
and
That's all it is. Money.
And actually, if you don't
Money.
go to an actual skydiving place and you just have a friend or something who
With a
has
plane,
his
you get the
pilot's license,
clearance
you
to
can do it
jump?
fucking wherever. Not like they can see you. You just look like a little dot and then a little colored dot above
Just get
you.
the
That's
permits
it.
to be allowed to fly in that area and to be allowed to exit the aircraft in that area. And
Yeah, that's all you need. You don't need to like do it at an actual skydive place.
I don't know. I would
either
be-
way, in the
if you
field-
did, here's $10 million. I'm gonna get laid while I'm falling to the earth. They'd be like, oh,
Now that's a new way to meet the
the
Mile High
ground?
Club.
I was gonna say
No, the Mile High Club. That'd be an interesting way.
The Mile High Club. I mean, seems interesting. I've gotten a handy on a plane. I haven't had sex, but skydiving, man, that's the way to do it. That's the goal.
I know
And
there's a couple weird things that
that's
I'd love
the
to do.
goal.
I don't know.
I've done it all now.
Like I said,
So,
skydiving would be kind of cool.
That's the
But
last
so
one
it's
on my
good.
sexual
I
bucket
think
list.
scuba diving would be pretty cool to do too.
Well, you must have goals.
Gotta have goals. It's the only way to achieve anything in life is to have goals.
Yeah, if you don't have goals, you don't have
Goals and
anything.
holes is the way to live.
See, the one thing I'm surprised I haven't done yet is in a hunting stand, in a hunting blind. I am shocked that I haven't done that yet.
That feels so. I mean, like
But think about it.
it's unique, but
Wouldn't
it's
it- no, no.
also normal.
No, but wouldn't it be awesome if you're in a fucking hunting blind, you're fucking balls deep in a chicken, all of a sudden a fucking deer comes, you kill the fucking deer and finish fucking her, and then go get your deer? That would be pretty fucking cool. Okay, Because if
It
you're
feels
quiet
too,
enough,
it feels too normal to me, I guess.
I guess it depends. If you do it on WMA
Because
in Louisiana, there's game wardens all
I-
around
'cause
you.
I mean,
That is an achievement.
I fucked in tents. I fucked in dirty leaf
know about
piles in the
tents, all right?
forest.
Okay,
like,
everybody knows about the tents, whether they were there or
I mean,
not.
I fucked in a kayak. I mean,
Was it a ride on or a ride in kayak?
it was a tandem one.
Okay, good. Because I was about to
So-
say, like, if it was a ride in, like, that must have been fucking hard. I can't even fit the fucking little ass
So
dog
like,
in a
the
fucking
hunting
kayak.
line thing doesn't appeal to me. That feels too normal. It feels too. It's just camping. That's all that is. It's just camping with a gun, and then you're also fucking. It's just.
But then
fucking in a
again,
tent.
one of my favorite cards in fucking Cards Against Humanity is firing a rifle in the air while you're balls deep in a fucking squealing hog. Come on.
I haven't done that, but I do enjoy my guns enough that would be.
Depending on the
enjoyable,
chick, you might have.
But blowing
She might have been a
something
squealing
up,
hog.
blowing something up would probably be better. Because like I shoot guns all the time, like that's not thrilling to me. But shooting a howitzer while balls deep, that sounds pretty exciting.
So you just want to kick it up. Okay, but you got to start somewhere, right? So you gotta top yourself
the
each time.
Bottom line is
So
you
you gotta do
really
something
you just want
somewhat
to kick it up a
basic.
notch.
And then you
I
got to keep
mean,
kicking it up a notch and keep topping yourself.
There's only so far you can go.
Well, true,
You
true.
know,
I mean,
That's why
I-
I'm like, I'm not gonna go out and fucking shoot a fucking bazooka
I mean,
while I'm getting rammed. You
I
know,
guess- I
I'd
guess-
rather start at something small with like a fucking 22
sure.
and then go up from there.
And
you
but
have to-
if
you
we're
have to
talking about firearms.
climb
there
the
is
ladder.
a max. Because I don't have a pilot's license, so I can't, and I don't have a military grade plane.
and you don't have a howitzer.
Because the max would definitely, fucking in a jet would be cool. That'd be awesome.
C-130. That'd be my way to
Shooting off
go.
Rockets when you're.
There's enough
whaling
room that you
somebody.
can do it like multiple
That's pretty
places
nice.
and never be in the same spot. C-130 would be the way to go. And then jump
Well,
out of the fucking
there's-
C-130.
I may not own a howitzer, but there is a company in like Texas that you can rent tanks and shoot tanks. on
Dude,
their
there's a
property.
company in Texas for everything. You can go and fucking shoot a
Give them
hog
enough
out of a
money,
helicopter.
probably
It's literally
fucking
called
type of
helicopter
tanks.
hogs. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
right. I'm sure
That
you
would
probably
be
paid them
fucking
enough money
cool.
to do it inside one of their tanks.
I think if you tanks are pretty small on the inside, so that would be
If she's
But for
flexible
two
enough, it don't
single
matter.
for two
that
single
would be
people, it'd cool.
entertaining.
No, but that's the
alone.
thing. If she's
Two
flexible
single
enough,
people
it doesn't
would be
matter how small the space.
That's also accurate.
We had this conversation at work
True,
the other
true,
day. How
true.
flexible you are.
If you're at the loader's spot and
Obviously,
you got her at the commander's spot, there's plenty of room.
two people. That's enough space.
It's if
Their
you're-
working space is probably about the size of like this opening. Maybe
you're-
it's a little bit tighter, but
If
About
you're
that.
if you're in the gunner's seat, yeah, there's no way. If you're in the driver's seat, there's no way. But
Oh, I
if
could make
you're-
it happen in the driver's seat.
definitely be doable in a
Oh, yeah,
Humvee.
well,
I could make it
That
happen.
one-
I would find a
no.
way. I would find a fucking way.
You can
was-
definitely
it
do
was
it in a
pretty
Humvee.
rough.
Do it in a
Hummers
Humvee.
are easy.
Especially it's like, oh, dude, to be in the turret shooting the 50 while
While you're
getting
getting
blown.
Yep.
That'd be cool. Do. I'm coming. Do. Be good. That'd be good.
No, my deuce,
I'd be
that'd
about
be
it.
all right. But if you sit there,
Ooh,
you
my
gotta-
deuce.
if you got a grenade launcher out there,
Oh,
you're
belt fed grenade launcher. Oh, okay.
While you're moving, you're doing all the work already. She just got to
Hey.
sit there and not move.
Pretty much.
And then you're good.
Just stay
You
the,
might
there.
blow out the back of her
recoil
skull.
alone.
Mark 19
would do the
Mark
job.
19 grenade launcher just going.
Yep.
Dum, dum,
The
just-
recoil alone would do the job for you.
Just
You wouldn't even break
stay
a sweat.
still and hold on.
Yeah. It'd be great.
Shit, I tell my fiance, just strap me in and let me go to sleep. That's it. You can do all the work.
I mean, roller coasters, those are pretty, I feel like normal. I feel like everyone's probably done
It depends
something
on
a
which
roller
one you do
coaster.
because there's the one up at what's the roller coaster theme park up in
Six Flags.
no.
I don't know.
It's up by it's not in Virginia, it's north of Virginia. Can't remember. They have like 7 like record breaking coasters there. And it's one of the biggest fucking theme parks in the world. Like the second biggest. And they have one that it's like a negative G drop.
Oh, so it goes like in.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Something like that. Now if
That's
like
pretty wild.
now if you go to the
What are the
fucking
comments?
like the one at Mission Beach, the wooden one,
comments?
that's just gonna hurt. There's no
Just
point.
Asking
They
questions or
did
anything.
That's I just thanked him for getting us started on the other than a threesome. But so anyway, that was the fun that we have as a family because we don't hide anything. We keep things pretty real. we are not the family that hides secrets and act like
We're
we're
clearly not the good Christian.
We're the
folk.
family. If you have a question, one of us can most likely answer it.
and we're
At least one.
and we're also not afraid to ask each other those kind of questions, and we're not afraid to answer with the truth either. So if that makes us bad people, I guess we're bad people, but honestly, I think that makes us the people that our kids feel
I think it makes you
confident
actually honest.
enough about if something bad were to happen.
Well, if I'm going to be stuck at a kink party and something goes wrong, I know I can call up my parents and be like, hey, this is where I'm at. When they roll up and see a guy in fucking full sub gear, like with a bit in his mouth, they're not going to ask me why. I've seen it, you know?
Bring the ladder and the
Versus-
chainsaw and
Versus
tape
the
some
next
duct
thing
tape
you
to the
know,
ceiling.
if you have like one of my best friend's parents, she rolls up, they're going to be like, may the power of Christ compel you, like, and fucking be sitting there throwing holy water on you as you're getting into their car, or they'll tell you, hop in the back of the truck, you're not clean enough
You are
for this.
unclean.
You're unworthy, you know. Versus my parents would be like, so anything interesting happened tonight? Well, don't get me started.
Well, the other thing
I've
about
got
that
scars. It's cool.
The other
Um,
thing about that too, though, at the same time, when you know that you're not going to be
shamed.
shamed, you know, it doesn't mean that we always think everything's hunky dory or cool, but I've done stupid shit. I've done some fun stuff. But we've all done things, and I would much rather be the people who are honest about that instead of pretending that I'm a God-fearing preacher man and I'm going downtown picking up hookers.
Right.
So if
Right.
you're a preacher man, that would make dad gay. So it's not just bestiality, it's also gay. Got it. Sorry, this is a running joke with me and the family now with a lot of shit. None of which is true that I know of yet. I have not found any proof and I'm not looking for it.
No, I can attest to that not being the facts.
Okay.
But the thing is that, you know, you see a lot of these families who talk about, you know, being pure and being goody two shoes and doing all the right things and following all the rules.
But
and-
you know they're godless heathens
Yeah.
somewhere. Whether it's gambling, drinking, their sex life, they like to put on this facade, this face that they're these best, like you said, God-fearing Christian folk that they
But
do
everybody
nothing.
has their
And then
their
they're- and then
issue, they're demons.
then they're
for
doing
Yeah.
sure.
they're doing
Their vice.
something
Yeah.
that they, well, one, they know they're ashamed of themselves.
What's the classic father, beating the shit out of his gay son because he's secretly gay? Like he has that demon in him and he's afraid to admit it. Or like the high school bully that bullies all the gay kids when he's the gay kid.
Yeah.
Everyone has their demons. Everyone has their issues and shit that they want to hide. And it's definitely more common with the quote unquote perfect people we see.
Yeah.
See,
They-
for
The
me,
difference is
I
we
want to
don't
be able
hide
to,
it.
whenever I have kids, when they're 16, they're like, I really want to have sex. Would I prefer you wait a little bit? Yeah. Did I wait? I waited till I was 17 at least. But regardless, if you're going to have it, come to me because you're not legally old enough to buy condoms. I will buy you your fucking condoms. I don't give a fuck.
That's a fair point. Going back with
You
what
know-
you said, like if I would say something to my younger self, then probably would have been to wait to not be sexually active at such a young age.
like wait until
But like
you're
for me,
Becoming an
I'd
adult.
rather be that parent where I'm like, okay, you're not 21 yet. You want to get drunk. I don't want you to get fucked up when you're 21 and die. Okay, you want to drink. You're going to drink at home with me and I'm going to supervise you, make sure nothing goes wrong. Same thing with when it comes to sex. You're not having sex with me. No shit. Throwing that out there before anybody goes there.
And just to clarify, you're going to supervise.
Fuck no. But if it comes down to it, I'll be like, okay, kids, we're going to be gone for 3 hours. If you need longer than that, you better fucking text me. But the condoms are in this drawer.
If a
Luke's in this drawer.
16-year-old needs
Don't be
longer than
stupid.
3 hours,
It's because there's
I
2
know.
hours and 59 minutes of staring at each other awkwardly.
Yes, an
Yes.
attempted foreplay that's shitty. So, but my thing is I rather be that parent who I'm like, I don't want you getting caught by the cops because you're doing it in your car, and then I have to
Yeah.
fucking bail your ass out, or they have to drop you off and explain, and now the whole fucking town knows that you fucked somebody.
The hard
Great.
part with that though
You know-
is no matter how much information you give them,
They
it
have to learn it
won't
on their own.
matter. They're stupid. I
Well,
know
yeah.
plenty of buddies of mine now that have like you said, like get caught fucking in the car and have to get bailed out. I have a few buddies that are now registered sex offenders their entire life because they were 17 fucking their girlfriend in their car. And that's a public sex act, and they were doing it at a park.
Did you
which
know
they
technically
claimed
though,
was a
if you fuck
child
somebody
thing.
in a bathroom stall, it is not considered a public act of sex because technically as soon as that bathroom stall is locked, it's considered a private space.
Did not know that. I know fucking in your car in a parking
Don't
lot.
ask me how I know that.
And that's
make you
because
I've not done that though.
and that's because anybody walking by can look through the window.
Exactly.
Even though you're not
And I have
trying to be
friends that are
caught,
like that,
you
and
can be.
That
It's
kind of
not
information you
considered a
can't give
private
to
domain.
Give to a child. They don't give a shit. They don't care about you.
And that's one of the
They
things
don't
where I'm
care
like,
about your opinion.
I would much rather be able to say, hey, you got questions. I know it might be awkward, but I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not going to make fun of you for it. I've asked multiple of my 4 parents different questions about sex and things that I was like, I'm not sure. I've looked it up. Not quite clear. You got any input? They give it to me and I'm like, okay, I feel a little bit more comfortable with this. Or, no, I'm not going to try this. But for me, it was like, I was 19 at the time already. I had already been sexually active, but still, it's one of those things where I'm like, because I knew I could have access to that knowledge, now all my friends come to me because I've experienced more.
So the same
Because I'm
question.
less scared.
So I have the same question for you then. If you could go back and talk to your 16, 17-year-old self, what would you say to yourself?
Me? Well, when I was 17, I lost my virginity. I'd say be smarter, and when your stepdad actually gives you the green light to do it in the house and you're too dumb to realize that's what he's doing, don't go over to his mother's house where his mother just barges through the fucking door and you're up in the 3rd story, which is basically an attic converted into a bedroom so they can hear every fucking sound and the bed's fucking broken and you don't know it. No, just
Save yourself the humiliation.
save the humiliation, because literally, like, my stepdad knew that we were going to. I was about to turn 18. I was 3 months from 18. He was like 6 months from 18, and my mom was so against it, which really makes me laugh now that I know more about her sex life. I don't want to though, but the fact that he basically made it to where my mom was out of the house and the entire house was clear for 2 hours, and all we fucking did was play fucking Halo instead of doing anything when we had, I feel stupid. Like, understand innuendos. That is what I would tell myself. And the other thing too is don't fuck with something you don't know what you're handling yet, because it can be
Mine-
very disappointing.
With that, a little bit like more like direct of an answer. If you don't know, Google it.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
put yourself in a
And-
position
I
where
Googled
like
so much
like
shit.
I know plenty of I have 2 buddies of mine currently, their wife and girlfriend are wanting to introduce toys into the bedroom. And they came to me about it, asking questions like how to do this. I'm like, well, if she's wanting it for you, go small first. Don't go right into the big bucks. Don't think like, oh, well, maybe I can handle it. But also don't be afraid of it. Google it. Find out the proper procedures for doing things and how to take care of yourself.
YouTube it.
Aftercare is
Well, I
the
mean,
biggest downfall of so
That
much
is
is the
there-
biggest
BDSM
fucking thing is
community.
aftercare.
And a lot of couples are getting, especially like with 2020 and the kids our age, they're now growing up and they're now becoming sexually experimenting. They're getting into BDSM and they don't understand how important aftercare is.
So
Don't slam that 12-inch long, 3-inch wide black fist in your ass and then wonder why you're hurting later.
right,
Start
right.
small, Google
Well, the
it.
other
If you
thing
have
too is the
questions,
emotional
find out.
aftercare. Emotional
Right,
aftercare is a big
exactly.
thing. So when you guys have a hot and heavy session, especially if you're into dom, sub, master, slave, whatever, anything like that, where there's any sort of degradation or pain or anything like that, even though they like it in the meantime, as soon as you come out of it, you come into reality, and then you end up, me saying this as a sub, you come out feeling
Different.
useless, worthless, because
right.
because you feel bad because you enjoyed being treated like that during sex.
Well, which is a
Afterwards,
super
when he
catch-22 like fact to that, because you're like, I like to be hit, but like also why'd you hit me?
Yeah, it's
I like
one
to
of
be
those
called
things
a
like,
slut, but hey, I'm not a slut. Why'd you disrespect me like that?
so whenever you come
There
out of
is a
it,
big
and the
catch-22
biggest thing
there.
is you have to make sure that your partner understands what you need afterward, especially from a sub point of view. When your partner just gets up, goes, takes a piss, throws on his fucking shorts, and gets on his phone or Xbox and leaves you sitting there in a fucking puddle, you feel pretty shitty. But if they're like, okay, babe, you're beautiful, da da da, you feel better, and then you're willing to whoop his ass on Xbox. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a thing. Like, you have to understand that sex is not just an act; it's an emotional thing too. And whether you like something in the bedroom doesn't mean that's how you are in
But the
public.
basic premise is Google it. If you have a question, if you don't know how something works, instead of because like that's how you can prevent so many injuries, especially like if you're interested in getting into the BDSM realm.
Watch Sex Sent Me to the ER.
Get something.
If these people would have
Sex
fucking
Ed in
Googled
ER,
it, if
yeah.
these people would have fucking Googled
Keep
it before
yourself
doing
from
it,
getting
they wouldn't have
hurt,
been in the
you know?
ER.
There's so many things that people don't understand. They like the idea of being handcuffed or tied to a bed, but they don't understand how like blood constriction works and cutting off circulation, like choking somebody
For a long
versus,
period of time,
you know,
or
putting like a breathing chokehold on somebody versus a pressure chokehold, and tying someone up the wrong way where they lose circulation in a limb. You know, there's so many danger
So-
aspects about it. So
Well,
Google
also
it,
understanding,
find
like-
out.
Like, if you're one of those people, like for me, I don't like being in tight spaces for very long. It's not that I'm claustrophobic, but when I'm bound, it freaks me out after a while because I lose all control. And I'm a huge fucking control freak. So for me, I can only handle it so long. So if your partner doesn't understand the safe words, if you're going to use
Right,
cuffs, use
right.
the cuffs that have the safety unlock. That you can
Right.
unlock yourself if you need to. Things like that. But there are things you can Google.
Trust
you're
and
looking at-
knowledge, man.
Knowledge
Trust
is the
and
best
be willing to
fucking bet.
talk to other people
Yeah,
about it that
communicate.
might have
Oh, yeah.
If
experienced
you don't
it
like
before.
something, tell your partner you don't fucking like it.
Yeah.
You
not
gotta
that
be
hard.
honest, and that's a big thing too. Don't just do something because your partner likes it, because eventually they're gonna want to kick it up a notch
Right.
because
right.
they don't realize that
Accurate.
you don't like it. They think you like it, and they like it, so they're like, "How can we spice this
Honesty.
up?" You have to be
Honesty.
fully honest
especially
about
like
it.
in the BDSM community. If that's
Oh,
something
God,
you're
yes.
getting into, and your partner comes to you like, "Hey, I want to tie you up," and you want to appease them, so you do it, and halfway through you have a panic attack because now you're constricted, you're tied up, you're blindfolded, and you're scared shitless.
Right.
Communicate. If you're not actually about it, tell them that. Tell them you need to start slow. Tell them you're scared. They communicate, because if you don't, that's how people have knocked themselves unconscious. They've cut themselves. People that are into knife play have stabbed their partners because there is a legitimate. I'm into knife play. There is a certain adrenaline factor when you climax and your adrenaline dump hits at the same time. It is a euphoria you can't explain, but that euphoria comes from danger. And when you're tied up and blindfolded, or like in the knife play, you know, it releases this fight or flight, mentality in you. And I've had friends stab their partners because their id took control. You know, their inner sanctum took control and was terrified, so they reacted. They saved themselves from the danger that they were very clearly in. So communication, honesty, knowledge,
Trust.
Google, man,
Trust is a
Google.
huge thing. And the
Yeah.
other thing too, communication. Just because you're like, "Oh, I might upset my partner," you have to understand it's not so much that you're going to upset your partner, but you can actually grow and actually make it better for both of you by finding that compromise.
And if it does upset them, good. Then now they know the truth, and the truth is going to be better than you getting hurt or scared or scaring them. if
So
you go
Dave
too
said,
far.
whoa, holy shit, gay is a demon. Hell yeah, I'm a demon.
He is a
um,
demon.
Besides the fact that he is a demon. But just to clarify, you were not saying that gays are demons or gays are bad. You were
No, for
talking
those that
no,
about
it's their
maybe
inner
listening.
fear of letting that out.
the bully
Yes.
who is being a bully
I say
towards somebody
demon in
who's
the
gay.
concept of like
If you're hiding it
the
and you're
skeleton in the closet. We all have our demons. You know, we're secretly
But instead of
gay, or
facing
we
it,
have, you know,
you
we're
react.
not necrophilia, the stealing shit. Kleptomaniacs. You know,
Oh,
that's
God,
your
I was like-
demon. You know, you're an alcoholic. That's your demon. It's a skeleton in your
And-
closet. Not
and-
that being
and-
gay is your demon, but
it's
it's the
more
demon that you have
it's
to
more
face.
the guy like I was talking about that and it was a real situation. He was a well-known, highly known big church in Colorado.
It's so
fam-
hot in here.
Family, wife, kids, and it all blew up because he was gay
Right,
and he was getting hookers.
right.
And going through prostitution to get that and got caught.
Right. Okay.
And when he got caught, he also did that. I'm not gay,
right.
you know, and rather than taking on and being honest with who he might really be or whatever, and he's going to get, treatment or whatever. But being gay is not something that you can get treated for.
No.
But
It's
there,
not a venereal
but there
disease.
are people who look down on there's a lot of people who just simply would look down on what you guys were just talking about.
Well, and that's
Oh,
the thing
very
that I
much
find the
so.
funniest about
People will call you
like
sadist or
is-
satanist.
Right. Well, I mean, like,
You know?
and that's something that I find quite ironic when it comes to people that love to demonize certain things. 9.5 times out of 10, that's the thing that they enjoy.
But
One,
the-
like, oh, I
but
cannot
either they
believe
grew
you
up
would do
Or
that.
have
in a
or
household,
or they
grew
don't
up with
enjoy
something.
it. They've never actually experienced it. They
I don't
have,
mean enjoy as in like they've done it and they're just like shaming you, even though they secretly do it. I mean that they mentally enjoy it. They're intrigued by BDSM,
or they
but they
secretly
wanna put
want to
you
do
down
it. They
because
want,
they're so.
Well,
it's the whole.
look
it's
at
the
this.
gay
or they
bully
dream
thing.
about it.
It's-
but
it's
Well,
the
never
gay
look at the
bully
actually-
whole 50
over and
Shades of
over.
Grey thing. You have all these housewives reading 50 Shades of Grey, but as soon as you bring in what actual BDSM is, oh my god, I'd never do that. You literally just watched 3 movies, read 3 books, or 6 books if you read Christian's point of view. You read about this, and this isn't even real BDSM. This is the sadistic version that is nowhere near how it's supposed to work, but you are fawning over it and sexualizing it, and yet the real thing that is safer, smarter, and more enjoyable is what you persecute. It's
Well,
like
and-
you're
but-
Because you
literally
don't
being a hypocrite.
understand, like the reality.
You don't understand the real rules of
But
it.
at the same time, it was romanticized in that if you take the exact same story, whether it's a movie or a book, and it's the exact same story, but Christian is Buck, who lives in a trailer with a,
With his dog Bert and
With
like
his dog
only
Bert.
$50 to his name,
and
that'd be
and-
freaky and creepy as shit.
and
To an
two
episode of Criminal Minds.
and two wheels are functional on the Volkswagen, and 2 are up on blocks, and he's like, yo baby, I'm gonna give you that car, and what I'm gonna do is take you out into that barn over there, and I'm gonna tie you up and beat your ass, but I'll give you $50 a week. She's gonna be on the phone calling Criminal Minds,
Yeah, but
So-
then you have some
when you
high-end millionaire.
so
who's
when you
the guy of your
romanticize it
dreams.
with a guy who has a helicopter and a plane, and he lives in a penthouse suite, and he's going to give you your own he's going to give you your own luxury lifestyle, you're like, I could take a beating once in a while.
It's just the secretive, like, hypocritical, like, mentality that irritates me about it. Like, it goes right along with the gay bully. You know, the jock that beats up on all the guys and all the gay kids,
Well,
making fun of them.
Look at
When
the
secretly he's the one actually checking out all the boys in the locker room. He's just afraid to admit it. So he's angry.
well,
He doesn't know how to
even
produce the
look at the
emotion.
movie Pretty Woman back in the 80s.
Right.
I mean, I'm betting there's a few women who became prostitutes over the romanticization of prostitution.
Right.
But-
I mean, we're doing it nowadays.
But
with-
does
with being
prostitution really
strippers.
look that way?
No.
Prostitution really is not the one pretty girl who's pretty. She doesn't have pockmarks on her face
Well, and
from
we
doing
still
drugs.
romanticize that with escorts, with right now with what's that site called, OnlyFans, and being a stripper and selling your Snapchat premium. Like we still romanticize it because we romanticize the money, and we romanticize the ability for women to profit off of their sexuality.
Mhm.
You know, which is the easiest thing that they have. They literally, as women, you don't have to do anything to be sexual or to make money from being sexual. We talked about the other night when we were drinking. You can go to a bar, whip your tits out, and you get free drinks. I go to a bar, whip my Johnson out, I get beat up and arrested. We romanticize that and sexualize, that ability and that profit margin. And we still do it every day. And you have the hypocrites out there that are broke, hungry, and starving, can't afford bills, but talking shit about the 19-year-old that has an OnlyFans that just made 15 grand last month selling titty pics.
Yeah.
She does
yeah.
nothing. She sits in her bed, takes a picture of her tits, and she made 15 grand.
Yeah.
And we demonize that because we're demonizing something that we ourselves cannot achieve.
Right.
We don't like it because we can't do it.
Right.
You know, get the gay bully beats up on all the gay guys because they're open about it. He wants to be open, but he
But
doesn't
he's
know how to use
terrified of his father, his mother,
own
his
emotions or
whatever,
society.
scared of it, whatever the
Exactly, so
situation
we
that's
demonize
keeping him
these
from
women.
being honest.
Right.
And I think all of us have gone through some of those things where it's harder to be honest about the stuff you do or like or whatever, and easier to pick. I mean, it's kind of like the fat housewife who husband hasn't looked at her in 20 years demonizes the cute, sexy chicks that dress provocatively.
Right, like it's their fault that you got overweight because you eat nothing but bonbons and sit on your
Or
ass
that
watching
you're,
TV.
or that you were raised, or that you yourself are so unavailable to realize that there's nothing wrong with what somebody else does. If you choose not to, you choose not to, but you don't need to berate or demonize somebody else
Right,
because
right.
they do. So anyway, we are like way over our time on our show. Our show is over, and I just want to tell everybody, our show is going to be a couple minutes of talking about bullshit. Bye, Sam. Thank you for joining us and telling us about your crazy sexual exploits. The intention was to talk about what happened in the last month and where we're headed and what we're going to be up to doing.
Well, that pretty much should cover this last month.
Yeah,
Well, it actually kind of pretty much covered
the last 10
night.
years.
Last night, pretty much, yeah.
Actually, I guess it was 2 nights ago.
It was Sunday night.
Because that was Sunday night.
Oh yeah, I forgot there was last night. I wasn't alive for that, so.
But we definitely have some actual art projects coming up. We have some oh, there you go. My vape decided to change it. We have some art projects coming up. We have some remodel projects coming up. We have some builds to do, and we have a lot of projects that we're going to be working on. We're going to be doing here with you guys. And every Friday we'll have Friday mashup, whether we have family there or not. No, it doesn't mean that every Friday we will talk about sex, but every Friday we will have a mashup. Doesn't mean that won't ever come into the conversation, because you never know what's going to come out of the mouths of these babes, let me tell you. So, but at the same time, we have a lot of things that are coming to the future here. And I'm looking forward to where we're going to go and what we're going to do. And we have, like I said, we have a lot of art projects going on. One of them, like I said, it wasn't really an art project, but redoing this studio so that it's a lot more functional and it works better, and mounting cameras and running cables. And, there's a lot of stuff that we had to do in order to get to this point. And one last thing before we actually go is a little bit about politics. So none of us know what is really going on or what's really going to happen. Are we going into a civil war? Did Trump supporters really take over the Capitol? Were there Antifa people there? Were there not Antifa people there? Were there special ops there? Were there not special ops there? There's a lot of things that are being talked about, but the most important thing, and I'll switch back to that right now, the most important thing that we should be talking about and we should be thinking about and we should be defending and supporting is those documents right there. That's really all that it matters. And it's not about opinions. It's not about what we want to have happening. It's what is reality. And unfortunately, Twitter's banned the president. Twitter banned me and my stuff a year and a half ago. And quite a number of other people too. There's a lot of things happening, and the frankness is that we don't know what's true, what's not true, what's real, what's not real, because people are putting out information that I think isn't factual. And then there's other information that might be factual, but you don't know what's true and what's not true. We just have to write it out and see kind of what happens. I think that we should be standing up as Americans. I'm not condoning violence. I don't think there should be any violence, but at the same time, if you had a revolution in the English-American War and they did it with no bloodshed, no violence, we would be England. If we had the Civil War, which was nothing about England, it was strictly about slavery and the South versus the North. If we had had that battle with no bloodshed and no violence, we would still have slaves.
We'd still be divided.
We'd still be divided. Well, we're definitely divided now, all over again. What I don't want to see happening is us going back 200 years. I don't want us to revert back 200 years. And when I say that, I don't mean mentally either. I mean, if shit really, really hits the fan, we can all say we can do this or that or the other thing. Like my son said the other day, Meal Team 6 are the people who want to go out and save the day. I was tough. I was gung-ho. I was a hardcore soldier when I was in the Army. I was a pretty badass police officer. I was tough. I could hold my own. I could hold my own with the dudes just as much as, well, there really wasn't very many girls then. But I was pretty badass. And I'm pretty sure my husband was as well. And I have to be honest, I would only be able to join Meal Team 6 at this point. I couldn't fight my way out of a dirty, burning paper sack, so would I want to? And could adrenaline take over and I could fight and defend my home? Yes, I could probably fight and defend my home, defend my property, defend my immediate land. Can I go out and take over a fortress? No, I'm not there. I know that. You have to know in yourself what your capabilities are. Are you really capable of being on a ambush team or, a riot squad or whatever you want to call them? Because I have no idea what they are besides Meal Team 6.
Militia.
And we're all watching what I'm calling, I stole it from one of the other guys on one of the groups I am part of, but it's hope porn. We're hoping that Trump's going to pull this out of his ass. We're hoping that somebody will listen to it. We're hoping the evidence will be seen. We're hoping they really did get evidence off of the computers. We're hoping that those computers were really taken by special ops. We're hoping that Italy really does have the information that we need. We're hoping for all this stuff, and we keep digging for it more and more and more, and we're trying to find either some semblance of truth, we're trying to find the truth, or we're just trying to find information that feeds what we want to hear. So that being said, if you have not watched The Social Dilemma, I watched it last night, encouraged by my son, and I watched it last night, and it was very educational because most of the people on there are the people who developed the software that is used on Facebook and Twitter and big tech now. They're the ones that made it. They're the ones that developed it, and they're no longer a part of it. And they're fighting in the Constitution or in legislation. They're fighting to regulate it because they see the damage it's causing. And the damage it's causing is this huge divide that we have in this country because everybody's right because the information they're being fed feeds the information they want. And I play stupid games on my phone. For entertainment. I scroll Facebook once in a while, but I kind of pulled away from Facebook a year ago. Most of us in my family, my son has pretty much dumped everything. Steve barely is on it once in a great while. If I see stuff that's popping up on that that information. I look at it and I'm like, that might be true, that might not. But I don't buy into that that's fact. This is what's happening. We are going down. Grab your guns, grab your knives, and load your stuff because we're going to war tomorrow. I go, you know what? If they came prepared to take the Capitol and to stop what was happening, they'd all come secretly with guns, ammo, gear, shields, armor. They would have came prepared for battle. But instead, like I was talking to one of the people that I'm involved with, there were 40 different groups, from what I understand, that put rallies together. 40 different people rather than one event and all those other 40 people rallying their troops. If you had one event with one mission, one goal, you might have been able to get there without causing death. You might have been able to sit in at the Capitol and take advantage of that if you had a plan and you had executed said plan. But there was no plan because 40 people are competing for who's going to have the popular rally. You know, it's a ego, narcissistic mentality of, I want to prove that I'm better than everybody else. And we're not going to get anywhere in this country doing that. It's what I said the other day was the difference between us and liberals have one agenda. They hate Trump. They absolutely, and I don't mean all liberals, I mean the radicalized, but the opposite side has one thing in goal, and that is to defeat Trump, and they hate Trump, and therefore anybody who likes Trump, they hate them, and their goal is to dismantle and stop everything. We have the goal of defending this country, but we are sidetracked with ego and narcissism, and I want to be popular, and I want to be the one that has the blue check mark, and who gives a fuck? You know, I mean, you have to want what the freedoms that we're losing little by little by little as they're ticking away, because you're fighting for it, but you're not fighting for popularity contest. So in the end of this, what I just said a few minutes ago, if you have not watched it, watch The Social Dilemma, see what they're really doing to us, see what's happening. I do play the stupid games on my phone. Every time I lose or something happens, a commercial comes on or an advertisement comes on, I don't even look at the ad. I watch whatever's on TV or what we're doing or we're talking, and I just multitask. And but so they're not getting me with the ads because I don't watch them. As soon as that 30-second ad comes on, I just ignore it while I move on. I got to do something else with that. But anyway, so, you know, watch The Social Dilemma, check yourself, see what you're doing as far as social media goes. Are you falling into that hype of fake news or misinformation? Yes, do I want this country to survive? Yes. Would I fight for it? Yes, I would. Would I come together? I would come together if people would actually come together. That's what they have on their side. They come together for a common goal. On the other side, conservatives won't come together for crap. And that's my opinion. And that's not just my opinion, but it's what I've watched for the last 4 years. It's all about me, 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 me. I want to be the most popular one. I'm not going to come to your event to help promote your event because you might get popular. So they're too worried about somebody else getting a little bit of popularity or a little bit of fame that they won't work together. Who gives a shit about who gets famous? I thought this was about our country, not who's going to get popular or who's going to sell a book that they didn't even know how to write. So that's my opinion. And I think we all need to think about where our future is headed. Don't forget, it's really about the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution, the Bill of Rights. And if you haven't read it in a long time, maybe you need to refresh yourself with the Gettysburg Address. Thank you and good night. Maybe I'll get it right once. I don't know. It's been a month, not quite a month, but it's been a while since I did my show. Anyway, good night. Thanks, guys.